The ultimatum. The enormous space station Helios Prime hung in the void like a crown jewel, its gleaming spires and rotating rings visible long before Captain Alina Shepard's ship, the Earth-born emissary, reached docking distance. From the viewport of the command deck, Alina watched as the central hub of the Galactic Confederation grew larger, a testament to technological achievement that made Earth's most impressive constructions look like children's toys. Quite a sight, isn't it? Dr. Kai Mehta joined her at the viewport, his dark eyes reflecting the station's shimmering exterior lights. As the mission's xenobiologist and cultural advisor, he had spent the last 3 years studying everything Earth knew about the 7 major species that formed the Confederation. "It's designed to intimidate," Alina replied, straightening her midnight blue diplomatic uniform. The silver Earth insignia on her chest caught the light as she turned. "And it's working." Lieutenant James Chen, head of security for the mission, approached with a data tablet. His expression was guarded, as it had been since they received the unexpected invitation to join the Confederation 2 months ago. "Final scans complete, Captain," he reported. "They're scanning us much more intensively than the protocols indicated. I'm detecting energy signatures consistent with weapons tracking systems." Alina nodded but kept her expression neutral. "As expected, keep our defensive systems passive but ready." Dr. Sarah Wong, the team's technological specialist, looked up from her console. "Their communication frequencies are buzzing. Much more activity than would be normal for a standard diplomatic welcome." "Let's not jump to conclusions," Alina said, though a knot had formed in her stomach. Humanity had achieved faster-than-light travel only 15 years ago, a technological breakthrough that had apparently caught the attention of the Galactic Confederation. The invitation to discuss mutually beneficial relations had been received with both excitement and suspicion on Earth. The Earth-born emissary docked with a gentle shudder. As the airlock cycled, Alina addressed her team one final time. "Remember, we represent all of humanity today. We observe, we listen, and we learn. Trust nothing at face value." Her gaze lingered on each team member. "And stay alert." The airlock doors slid open to reveal 3 alien representatives. In the center stood a tall, slender being with iridescent skin that shifted colors like oil on water, an Aqualian, according to their briefings. To its left was a bulky creature with rocky, segmented armor covering most of its body. A granite. On the right floated what appeared to be a shifting cloud of luminescent particles contained within a subtle energy field. A Nebulian. Captain Alina Shepard. The Aqualian spoke, its voice translated through their communication devices. "I am High Counselor Seleth of the Aqualian Dominion. Welcome to Helios Prime." Alina stepped forward and offered the universal greeting gesture they had been instructed to use. "Thank you for your welcome, High Counselor. May I present my team?" Dr. Kai Mehta, our cultural and biological specialist, Lieutenant James Chen, security attaché, and Dr. Sarah Wong, technological advisor. The granite made a rumbling sound that their translators interpreted as laughter. Such formal titles for such a young species. The human delegation brings many specialists for simple welcome talks. Alina smiled diplomatically. "We believe in being thorough. Please follow." The Nebulian's voice was like whispered wind through their translators. "The Confederation has prepared accommodations suitable for your biological needs." As they moved through the station's vast corridors, Alina noted how other alien species stopped to observe them. Some showed obvious curiosity, others something closer to disdain. Humans were newcomers to the galactic stage, and their outsider status was palpable. Their quarters were spacious but minimalist. Once alone, Lieutenant Chen immediately deployed countermeasures against surveillance. He found 7 listening devices and 3 visual monitors. "Leave them," Alina instructed quietly, "but engage our privacy field." Chen activated a subtle energy barrier that would scramble any surveillance while appearing to function normally. Dr. Wong connected to their secure Earth communication system. "I've been monitoring their networks since we arrived," she whispered. There's an unusual amount of encrypted traffic, much more than would be typical for a diplomatic reception. Dr. Mehta unpacked his equipment. The initial meeting is scheduled for 2 hours from now. According to the agenda they provided, most speaking time has been allocated to the Thraxian Empire and the Rift Consortium, the two most aggressive expansionist groups in the Confederation, Elena noted. Interesting prioritization for welcome talks. Later, as they prepared for the meeting, Dr. Wong pulled Elena aside, her face grave as she displayed intercepted data on her secure tablet. "Captain, I've managed to decrypt some of their secure communications," she said. "These aren't welcome talks. Look at these resource allocation plans for our solar system." Elena studied the data, her expression hardening. The plans detailed mining operations throughout Earth's solar system, including several that would render Mars uninhabitable and drastically alter Earth's climate. "So this isn't a negotiation," she said slowly. "It's a formality before they tell us how they plan to exploit our system." "It appears so," Wong agreed. "They've already divided our resources among themselves." Elena's jaw tightened. "Then we'll listen carefully and learn everything we can before we decide our next move." She straightened her uniform. Humanity didn't come this far to become anyone's colony. The Confederation Council chamber was a vast amphitheater with 7 tiered sections, each designated for one of the major species. Elena and her team were given seats on the lowest level, a clear message about their status. Above them sat representatives from 7 advanced civilizations, many of which had been traveling between stars, while humans were still developing agriculture. Grand Admiral Zorax of the Thraxian Empire rose to speak first. His exoskeleton gleamed with embedded technology, and the mandibles at the sides of his mouth clicked subtly as he addressed the chamber. "We welcome our human guests," Zorax's voice boomed through the translation system. "As they join the galactic community, we must provide guidance for their protection and galactic stability. We propose limiting human expansion to their home planet for the next 5 centuries, with Confederation oversight of Earth's resources to ensure sustainable practices." Elena kept her face carefully neutral as she listened. The Thraxian proposal included ecological management of Earth's resources and technological safeguards that would effectively prevent humans from developing better ships or weapons. When Emissary Thrix of the Rift Consortium spoke next, the terms became even more restrictive, suggesting protective custody of all human technological development. When it was her turn to speak, Elena asked careful questions. She avoided showing anger at the unfair terms, instead gathering information and observing how different alien representatives reacted. Some seemed uncomfortable with how humans were being treated. Others showed no emotion at all. During a recess, Dr. Mehta was approaching a refreshment station when an Aqualian different from Seleth approached him. "I am Lysith," the Aqualian said quietly. "May we speak privately?" Mehta glanced around before nodding. They moved to a quiet corner. "Your species is in danger," Lysith said, voice barely audible even through the translator. "The Confederation fears you not for what you are, but for what you might become." "Fears us," Mehta replied, incredulous. "We barely have interstellar capability." "That is precisely why." Lysith's skin rippled with blue concern patterns. "Your development rate is unprecedented. The Thraxians took 12,000 years to progress from simple machines to space travel. The Aqualians took 9,000. Humans did it in less than 500. Mehta absorbed this information carefully. "Why are you telling me this?" "Not all of us agree with the Confederation's approach. Some believe diversity strengthens us all." Lysith pressed a small crystal into Mehta's hand. "Data about our species' classifications, vulnerabilities. Your people should know what they face." Meanwhile, Lieutenant Chen was conducting his own investigation. Using his military training, he accessed service corridors throughout the station, placing small devices that could monitor Confederation communications. In one maintenance tube, he nearly collided with a granite technician. The rocky alien rumbled in surprise but did not report him. Chen realized the Confederation's united front might have cracks. Dr. Wong spent her time in the Diplomatic Wing's Information Center. As the only human with permission to access certain Confederation databases, she searched for information about how they viewed humanity. What she found disturbed her deeply. "They've classified us as a containment species," Wong told Elena when the team reconvened in their quarters. They spoke quietly within their privacy field. That's their designation for species deemed too unpredictable or dangerous for full galactic integration. Meta connected the crystal Lysith had given him to their secure system. This confirms it. The Confederation has been observing Earth for centuries. They stayed hidden because their protocols require non-interference until a species achieves FTL travel. They expected us to take another 3,000 years to reach that point, Wong added. Our faster development timeline disrupted their plans. The military positioning makes sense now, Chen noted, displaying data from his surveillance devices. The Thoraxians already have ships stationed throughout our solar system. They're prepared to enforce these limitations if we don't agree. Elena stared out at the stars visible through their viewport. Somewhere among them was Sol, too distant to see from here. "We play along," she said finally. "We act cooperative while we gather more information. If they expect humans to be predictable, we'll show them just how wrong they are." 3 days passed. Elena and her team attended daily meetings where the Confederation species discussed Earth's future as if humans had no say in it. Each night they analyzed the information Chen and Wong gathered. The picture became clearer and more troubling. On the 4th morning, Elena made her decision. The team prepared through the night, organizing their evidence. When they entered the council chamber the next day, the alien representatives noticed the change in their demeanor. "Captain Shepard, you seem troubled," said High Counselor Seleth from his elevated position. His skin had shifted to a deep purple, showing concern or perhaps suspicion. "I am troubled," Elena replied, her voice firm. "For 3 days, we've listened to proposals about Earth's future. Today, I would like to present some information of our own." Without waiting for permission, Elena activated the central display system. The massive screen filled with images that Chen had collected. Thoraxian warships positioned near Jupiter, Rift Consortium mining operations already set up on distant asteroids in Earth's solar system, and maps dividing Earth's continents into resource zones. The chamber erupted in noise. Some aliens shouted, others made clicking or whistling sounds of distress. Several rose from their seats. "This is a violation of protocol." The granite representative's translator could barely keep up with its rumbling. Elena spoke over the noise. "Is protocol more important than truth?" "These ships moved into position before talks even began. You never intended fair negotiations." Seleth raised his 4 upper limbs, calling for order. When the chamber quieted, he looked down at Elena with large eyes that now pulsed with light. "Captain, you misunderstand. These are standard procedures for integrating new species. Young civilizations must be guided." Elena displayed another set of images, secret treaties between Confederation races, already signed, dividing Earth's resources. "Guided or controlled?" Elena asked, her voice cutting through the chamber. "These documents show you've already decided Earth's fate. Humans are to be limited to our own planet, our resources taken, our development stunted." A low murmur spread through the chamber. Some council members looked uncomfortable. Elena noticed Lysith watching with all 4 eyes wide open. Seleth's skin turned a deep crimson. These arrangements were meant to be revealed gradually as humanity proved ready. The galaxy is complex, dangerous. Young species cannot be allowed to develop without oversight. "What you mean," Elena said clearly, "is that humans develop too quickly for your comfort. We don't spend thousands of years on decisions like the Confederation does. We adapt. We change. We evolve. And that frightens you." Grand Admiral Zorak stood up, mandibles clicking rapidly. "Enough of this. The human speaks as if they have a choice. Let us be direct. Earth will accept Confederation guidance or face consequences. Your planet's defenses are no match for even a single Thoraxian battle group. Elena looked around the chamber. Some aliens seemed embarrassed by Zorax's words. Others nodded in agreement. The true face of the Confederation was now visible. I understand, Elena said quietly. Then she reached up and removed her translation device. She placed it carefully on the central table. Looking at her team, she spoke in English. We're leaving. Now. The human delegation stood as one. Without another word, they turned their backs on the council and walked toward the exit. No species had ever walked out of Confederation negotiations in its 12,000-year history. Behind them, confusion spread. Seleth called for them to stop. Zorax threatened. The Nebulian representatives' particles swirled in distress, but the humans kept walking, their steps sure and united. As the doors closed behind them, the last thing they heard was the chamber descending into chaos. On their ship, as they prepared for emergency departure, Dr. Meta looked at Elena. What now, Captain? Now we prepare, Elena said, her expression resolute. They thought humans were predictable. They're about to learn how wrong they were. News of the humans' departure spread faster than their ship could travel. The Confederation's communication network buzzed with messages between worlds. Many species had never heard of humans before. Now everyone was talking about them. The Thoraxians called for immediate action. Their war council prepared battle plans to contain the human problem. The Rift Consortium calculated how to profit from possible conflict. The ancient Nebulians, who rarely spoke in council meetings, warned that hasty action against humans would be unwise. As the Earthborn emissary approached Earth after 6 days of travel, Elena prepared herself for what would come next. Through secure channels, they had already sent warnings about the likely Confederation response. When they landed in Geneva, the seat of the United Earth government, a mix of reactions awaited them. You've doomed us all, shouted Representative Olivia Diaz at the emergency meeting. How could you walk out on the most powerful alliance in the galaxy? But President Cheng raised his hand for silence. Captain Shepard, he said calmly, tell us everything. The response. The United Earth Emergency Council chamber fell into stunned silence as Captain Elena Shepard finished presenting the evidence her team had gathered at Helios Prime. The holographic displays around the circular table showed Confederation battle fleet positions, resource extraction plans, and a classified containment species designation that had been applied to humanity. So that's it then, General Victor Kaminsky said, breaking the silence. His weathered face looked grim in the blue light of the holograms. We're facing species with technology thousands of years beyond our own, and you just told them to go to hell. With all due respect, General, Elena replied, they were already planning to go to hell with us. The difference is now we know it. President Cheng stood at the head of the table, his expression thoughtful rather than fearful. At 72, he had navigated Earth through first contact and the subsequent 15 years of rapid technological development. Captain Shepard made the right call, he said finally. Better to face an enemy we can see than one hiding behind false diplomacy. Dr. Wong, what's your assessment of their technological advantage? Sarah Wong adjusted her glasses and stepped forward. Significant, but not insurmountable. Their weapons and defensive systems are more advanced, but they've grown complacent. Most of their technology hasn't fundamentally changed in centuries. And their numbers? Asked Defense Minister Abara. Lieutenant Chen displayed a new hologram. Based on our intelligence, the Thoraxians could deploy approximately 80 warships to our solar system within 2 weeks. The Rift Consortium another 40. But the Confederation isn't unified on this. The Aqualians and Nebulians seem reluctant to take military action. Secretary General Phillips shook his head, his voice rising. Even 20 ships would overwhelm our defenses. We have 6 FTL-capable warships, all of them practically prototypes. This is suicide. President Cheng raised his hand again. Perhaps it's time we showed our own cards. He nodded to Director Lin of the Advanced Technologies Division. Lin activated a secure terminal, and new images appeared on the displays. Project Prometheus has been accelerated. We've maintained absolute secrecy, even from the Confederation observers we were aware of. The room filled with murmurs as the Council members studied the schematics of weapons systems and defensive technologies unlike anything publicly known to exist on Earth. "How is this possible?" Secretary Phillips asked, his eyes wide. "Reverse engineering," Lynn explained. 15 years ago, when we achieved our first FTL jump, we didn't just discover the principles of faster-than-light travel. We found something else, a derelict ship of unknown origin in the Kuiper Belt. It wasn't Confederation technology. It was something else, something older. Elena exchanged glances with her team. This was news to them as well. "We've spent the last decade integrating what we learned," Lynn continued. "Our public technological progress has been carefully managed to appear linear and predictable, while Project Prometheus developed in complete secrecy." Dr. Wong studied the schematics with growing excitement. "These shield configurations, they're beyond anything the Confederation showed us." Lynn nodded. "We believe the vessel we found belonged to a civilization that predates the Confederation. Their approach to energy manipulation follows fundamentally different principles." President Cheng addressed the Council again. "We've deployed 30 automated defense platforms throughout the solar system, all equipped with Prometheus technology. They're currently in stealth mode. Additionally, all 6 of our warships have been retrofitted with these systems. It still won't be enough against their numbers," General Kaminsky pointed out. "No," Cheng agreed, "which is why we're not going to fight them. At least not directly. Captain Shepard, I believe you have a proposal." All eyes turned to Elena. She stepped forward, her resolve evident in her stance. "The Confederation isn't a monolith," she began. "During our time on Helios Prime, we identified significant divisions among their species. The Thoraxians and Rift Consortium want our resources and fear our development potential. But the Aqualians, Nebulians, and Granites have factions that disagree with this approach." She displayed the data Lissith had provided. "We have potential allies. The question is how to leverage these divisions while demonstrating that we're not as vulnerable as they believe." "You're suggesting diplomacy?" Phillips asked incredulously, after walking out on them. "I'm suggesting a show of strength followed by diplomacy," Elena clarified. "Right now, they're debating how to handle us. The aggressive factions want a quick strike before we can prepare. Our immediate goal should be to change their risk calculation." Over the next 72 hours, Earth executed what would later be known as Operation Lighthouse. Using the Prometheus technologies, they activated a planetary defense system that projected a visible energy shield around Earth. Similar shields appeared around Mars and key installations throughout the solar system. It was partly functional, partly illusion, but from a distance, impossible to distinguish. The United Earth government then broadcast a message on all Confederation frequencies. Standing before the Global Council, Elena delivered it personally. "To the Galactic Confederation, we came to you in peace, seeking cooperation. Instead, we found deception and the threat of subjugation. Humanity rejects these terms. We have activated our planetary defense network and stand ready to protect ourselves." The message included carefully selected footage of Prometheus technology demonstrations, enough to suggest significant defensive capability without revealing their actual limitations. However, Elena continued, "We remain open to genuine negotiation based on mutual respect. We invite representatives of the Confederation to Earth in 14 days for talks on equal terms. Any hostile action before then will be met with immediate defensive response." The message ended with coordinates for a designated meeting location in neutral space. "Now we wait," President Cheng said after the broadcast, "and hope they take the bait." The response came faster than expected. Within hours, Confederation communication channels were alive with debate. The Thoraxians demanded immediate military action, but others urged caution. The energy signatures detected from Earth's defensive systems didn't match known Confederation technology, raising questions about what else humans might possess. 3 days later, A small Aquelian vessel approached the edge of the solar system under a flag of truce. It carried Lissith, now identifying himself as an official representative of a moderate Aquelian faction. "Your display has caused quite a stir," Lissith told Elena when they met aboard a human vessel at the rendezvous point. His skin rippled with patterns of amusement and concern. "The Thoraxians insist you're bluffing. The Nebulians aren't so sure. And my people are reconsidering their position." "And what do you think?" Elena asked. "I think," Lissith's skin shifted to a thoughtful blue, "that a species who developed FTL travel thousands of years ahead of schedule might be capable of other surprises." He paused. "There are those among us who have questioned the containment policy for centuries. Your actions have given voice to that minority." Over the next week, more envoys arrived. A Nebulian representative, 2 granite factions, and even a rogue Thoraxian scientist who had long opposed his species' militaristic stance. The Rift Consortium sent commercial representatives rather than diplomats, pragmatically exploring what trading opportunities might arise from a new paradigm. Meanwhile, Earth continued its defensive preparations. The Prometheus technologies were deployed more widely, and civilian evacuation protocols were established. If diplomacy failed, humanity would fight. On the 14th day, a Confederation delegation arrived at the designated coordinates. It was smaller than the Grand Council on Helios Prime. Just 2 representatives from each major species, but it included decision-makers rather than mere diplomats. The meeting took place aboard a neutral space station the humans had rapidly constructed for this purpose. Its very existence, an impressive structure built in days, was another calculated message about human capabilities. High Counselor Selith led the Confederation representatives, his skin a neutral gray that revealed nothing of his thoughts. "Captain Shepard," he began formally, "the Confederation acknowledges your concerns about our initial approach. We are prepared to discuss alternative arrangements." Elena, now formally appointed as Earth's chief negotiator, nodded. "The United Earth government appreciates your willingness to engage in meaningful dialogue. Let me be clear about our position. Earth will remain sovereign. Our technological development will continue unimpeded, and any resource extraction in our solar system will require our explicit consent and fair compensation." Admiral Zorax of the Thoraxians made a harsh clicking sound. "You dictate terms as if you hold the advantage. Your defensive posture is impressive but untested. A sustained attack would result in casualties on both sides," Elena interrupted coolly. "Is that outcome preferable to cooperation?" Emissary Thrix of the Rift Consortium leaned forward. "Perhaps we should discuss what cooperation might look like. Humans have demonstrated unexpected capabilities. There may be mutual benefits to explore." For the next 3 days, they negotiated. The terms evolved from thinly veiled threats to genuine give and take. The Confederation representatives were surprised by human adaptability, their willingness to compromise on minor points while holding firm on essentials, their creative solutions to seemingly intractable problems. On the final day, Elena presented Earth's formal proposal, a modified relationship with the Confederation. Earth would not join as a subjugated world, but as an associate member with limited but defined rights. Human expansion would be restricted to their solar system for the next century, but their technological development would continue without interference. In exchange, humans would share selected innovations and participate in cooperative ventures. "This is unprecedented," Selith said, his skin shifting through multiple colors as he considered the proposal. "So are we," Elena replied simply. After intense private deliberation, the Confederation delegation agreed to the core terms, with details to be refined through ongoing diplomatic channels. It wasn't full acceptance into the galactic community, but it was recognition of Earth's right to determine its own path. As the delegates prepared to depart, Lissith approached Elena privately. "You've changed everything," he said. "For millennia, the Confederation has operated on the principle that younger species must be controlled until they mature at our pace. You've broken that paradigm." It needed breaking, Elena replied. Lysith's skin rippled with what Elena now recognized as thoughtful amusement. Do you know why the Thraxians finally agreed to these terms? Their intelligence analysts reviewed Earth's historical records. They found that humans have a peculiar trait. You fight hardest when cornered, achieve the impossible when told something cannot be done. Their models predicted that even if they destroyed 90% of your military capability, the remaining 10% would continue fighting with increasing innovation and ferocity. They're not wrong, Elena acknowledged. Indeed, and that is why you terrify them. Lysith's skin shifted to a warm golden hue, and why some of us find you fascinating. When the Confederation ships departed, Elena returned to Earth to report their success to the United Earth government. The atmosphere in the council chamber was markedly different from 2 weeks earlier. Cautious optimism had replaced desperate fear. You've bought us time, President Cheng said after hearing her report. Time to strengthen our position, develop our technology, and build new alliances within the Confederation. It's not a permanent solution, Elena cautioned. The aggressive factions will continue pushing for harsher measures against us. We need to be vigilant. And we will be, Cheng assured her. But today, humanity stands taller in the galaxy than we did before. We faced extinction and instead negotiated our place among the stars. He smiled slightly. Not bad for a containment species. Later, as Elena stood at the viewport of her apartment overlooking the new Geneva skyline, Dr. Mehta joined her. So what happens now, Captain? He asked, echoing his question from weeks ago aboard the Earthborn emissary. Elena watched as the setting sun cast long shadows across the city, a city that would now continue to grow and thrive under human terms. Now, she said thoughtfully, we do what humans have always done. We adapt. We innovate. We prepare for the future while hoping for the best. And the Confederation. Elena smiled. They'll be watching us, studying us, trying to understand us. Some will still fear us. Others will want to learn from us. A few might even become true allies. That's a lot of uncertainty, Mehta observed. True, Elena agreed. But uncertainty is where humanity thrives. It's what makes us unpredictable. She turned from the window to face him. And unpredictability is our greatest strength in a galaxy that values the safe and familiar. As night fell over Earth, news of the agreement spread through the Confederation's vast communication network. The humans had surprised them again, not just with hidden technology, but with their approach to diplomacy itself. They had walked out of negotiations only to create a new form of relationship that no one had previously considered. Throughout the galaxy, species that had never heard of humans before the Helios Prime incident now discussed them with a mixture of curiosity, concern, and grudging respect. The consensus was forming. These humans were different, unpredictable, dangerous, perhaps, but also potentially valuable. And somewhere in deep space, beyond the Confederation's borders, something ancient stirred. The civilization that had left the derelict ship humans had discovered 15 years ago was not as extinct as everyone believed. They had been watching, waiting for someone to find their deliberately placed technological breadcrumbs, someone innovative enough to understand them, adaptable enough to use them, and bold enough to challenge the Confederation's stagnant order. Humanity had just passed their first test.